In today's video, we're going to tell you about our trip to Belgrade, Serbia. Now, it's a city that surprised us in a number of ways.
And if you're headed there on a Viking River cruise, or maybe you're just interested in traveling the Balkans, we're going to tell you how we got there, what we did, and what our thoughts are on the city.
We're John and Bev, and we are the Retirement Travelers.
On our last vlog, we were in Ljubljana, Slovenia, and we needed to get ourselves all the way to Belgrade, which is about a 6-hour drive.
And a few countries in between.
And a few countries in between. So we're going to tell you all about that and how we did it, but we're going to save it for the end because there's a little story there.
That's right. So let me tell you a little bit about Belgrade, Serbia. It's a city that we did not know a whole lot about, but it is a very, very interesting city. The first thing that strikes us, I mean, it's a big city. It's about 1.5 million people. It's the capital of Serbia. But what really struck us was this city has been destroyed and rebuilt 44 times. It even has the nickname of the White Phoenix.
Yeah,
and you
they're very resilient.
Very resilient people, and you could still see a lot of the remnants of past wars and conflict. As once we got to the town, we kind of understood why it had been destroyed so many times. It is in a very strategic location. It sits at the confluence of the Sava and Danube rivers, and the fortress there is up on the hill overlooking that. And you think back over the last 7,000 years, it's like, where do we want to conquer? How about Belgrade? Because it's in a prime real estate right there.
That is true. Now, we did several things while we were there. The first thing we did was we took a tour. It was an underground tour, not so much underground.
There was more overground than underground.
We did get to go into some bunkers underneath the fortress, and we learned a little history about the area and got a look out over the fortress, and that was a very interesting little tour. But before the tour, something crazy happened to us.
Oh, that's right. I wouldn't say it's a bucket list item, but it's something that we'll remember forever. We got approached. We were walking down the main shopping, pedestrian-only shopping street there in Belgrade,
yeah.
And two reporters stopped us. They had their camera equipment, and they wanted to interview us for a Serbian Travel TV.
Yes, so we were on Serbian television.
It was a fun experience.
It was a hoot, actually, and we had a great time when they wanted to know what we were doing and where we were going, and it was fun. And it was fun to watch ourselves.
Yeah, and as in most places we've been over here, people are very curious about how we see their country. And they were curious, what were our impressions of Belgrade? Yeah. And we didn't have to lie. We said we liked it. It was an absolute great experience.
Yes, and speaking of the pedestrian walkway, the thing we learned about this being there is that so many people are out at night. There were entertainers on the street. We saw all kinds of people in that area just having the best time, and there was lots of shopping and restaurants, and
it's a very walkable city, and it kind of all starts with the fortress. But there's a place called if I'm saying this right, Kalemegdan Park. Yeah. And it's where the fortress is, but it's a nice big city park. People go and watch the sunsets there, and the shopping areas, but right up against that, there's tons of restaurants. It's a very walkable city and safe and enjoyable to go visit.
Yes, we had a great time doing that.
Yeah.
One of our best things that we did, probably our favorite, was the restaurants we ate at. We ate at two really
Well, that's
wonderful
usually one of our
restaurants.
favorite things in every city. But
in this case, we went to this one restaurant called the Three Hats, and they had musicians that played. It was beautiful.
I would sing, but I don't want to mess the song up. It was called the Bohemian District, and it's a place where artists had lived in the past and would perform there. But it was cobblestone streets, and it's kind of the touristy area, kind of. But it was great fun, great restaurant, great environment, and great food. So that we highly recommend that.
Yes.
Another thing that we did was fun
was the Anvar Restaurant
Bar. Now that's down on the Sava River. And it's kind of interesting. We didn't participate in this, but there's actually a lot of floating nightclubs for the younger folks out there. It's a big party area. They go and they have nightclubs in these floating barges, or
barges.
a better
I'm
word,
pretty sure.
and then along the waterway they have great restaurants, and that's what Bev was talking about, the Anvar Restaurant, which is fantastic.
But at this restaurant we had the cutest waitress. She was really a doll, and she suggested that we eat the menu, which was not actually eating the menu, but eat through the menu.
Yes.
They have a menu item where you can taste everything on the menu, and they basically just bring you food and more food and more food, and you get a taste of everything. It was delicious.
It was 2 hours of bringing us food, and it was like we had to finally just say stop, and that was before the dessert, and then they brought dessert.
I know, it was really crazy. We loved that.
Yes, that was an awesome experience. Another thing that we enjoyed there, we went to the Nikola Tesla Museum.
Yes.
And I got shocked.
You were shocking.
I was shocking, but he's kind of their hero there, and the airport is named after him. So he is a
hero.
A hero there.
Yes, as he should be.
That's right. And we just enjoyed the town. One of the things we did that we had a blast was, we've been wanting to go to a movie for a long time. Now, we've not been to a movie in over a year, probably.
Maybe 2.
Or maybe 2 years. It's been a long time. I know it's kind of embarrassing.
And Top Gun came out.
We wanted to see Top Gun Maverick, and we couldn't.
Was it English?
In Italy, it was only in Italian. Yeah. So we found out that here in Belgrade, it was in English.
Yes.
And guess what? It was $3. Plus a Coke, and we had a great time.
We almost went to every movie that they showed.
I know. I think there was like 10 people in the movie theater total, but we had a great time.
Well, we had even more fun because it was $3 with a Coke.
Yeah.
Let's get real.
That made it fun right from the beginning.
Yes, we loved that. We also got a haircut. We just did normal stuff. We did a lot of walking every day. We walked probably an hour and a half every morning. John would go out for his run, and then he would come back, and we would just go walking all over the city. So, like we said, we didn't feel unsafe, and we felt, there were happy people on the streets, and we just had a great time.
I don't know why he got all red in the face.
Because you're embarrassing him, no doubt.
I must have been embarrassing him.
We had a good time, but we want to tell you about our trip there. When we were on our way to Belgrade, we had the choice of flying, or we could take a driver. You cannot rent a car because we had to cross several borders. You can't rent a car and drop it off into another country in the Balkans. There were no trains that took us the whole distance. We were going to have to combine buses and trains and private cars or taxis, and it was just a very long process. We could fly it, or we could drive it, and we decided we wanted to see Eastern Croatia.
Yeah.
And so
we used a service called My Day Trip. That was the first time. We've since used them a few times, but it was about $500, and it sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. When you think about it, from
6 hours.
Ljubljana to Belgrade, about 6 hours. We went through 4 countries. We made a couple little side stops. And it's door-to-door service.
And our driver, Gordon, he picked us up, and we just loved him. He told us, when you're spending that much time with someone in a car, you learn something about them. And we learned his history, and he is so representative of so many people that we meet on our trip, who are kind and generous to us, and who are thoughtful and treat us so very well. And he did that.
Oh, yeah.
He told us that he wished that he had gone to college. He wished that he wanted that so much, but he couldn't. So he's out there with his taxi company and his tour company, and we'll leave the link below. If you're in Croatia and you're looking for a tour guide or a special trip, you can hire him for the day.
Yeah, he'll basically take you anywhere you need to go all over Croatia, and he does that for people all the time.
As we were planning this video, I had heard the song, and it was so representative of Gordon and his life. He actually is paying for his sister to go to college because he couldn't do it himself and his family can't afford to send her. So he's paying for his sister. We just loved his hustle and his desire to better his life and the life of his mother and the life of his future family. He's a single guy, so we just loved him. And so here's our song.
He spoke proudly of his daughter, and that this fall she'd be in college, and that he always wished he'd gotten his degree. You could tell he came from nothing, built her future out of hustling. Somehow I'm the one you people pay to see. Oh, isn't that just the way it goes? You're dealt a good hand, then you get celebrated. Oh, how am I the only one who knows I'm half the man of the men that drive me places? Then he showed up early, 15 minutes till 5:30, making sure that I'd be on my morning flight. He said he'd love to fix computers, but that he can't until he's fluent, so he spends his driving money taking class at night. He wore a neatly ironed dress shirt, and he helps his kids with homework. Deep inside I couldn't help ask myself why that night I'm up on stage, everybody knows my name, while Danny's early picking up somebody else. Oh, isn't that just the way it goes? You dealt a good hand and you get celebrated. Oh, how am I the only one who knows I'm half the man of the men that drive me places? Now everything's not given, I work hard to make a living. I'll give credit where I think the credit's due. Maybe you got dealt a good hand, maybe you play it the best that you can, but I don't know how far you walk without those cards in Howard or Danny's working shoes. Well, that's just the way it goes. You dealt a good hand and you get celebrated. Oh, how am I the only one who knows I'm half the man of the men that drive me places?
Be sure to hit subscribe and follow along on our retirement journey around the world.